just like a couple more trips, and then I can throw all this footage to an editor that I trust, and we can start cutting it all together and making it a beautiful documentary that hopefully, hopefully I can sell it to Netflix, because like people like Netflix and these streaming services, if you're not a known director, like I'm not, like by any means, but you have a finished product and they can watch it, and if it's about crypto and they enjoy watching it, like they'll buy it.
Welcome to the Unlimit podcast, brought to you by Bitcoin Unlimited. I'm John Moriarty, and for today's episode, I have with me Collin Enstad, Bitcoin Cash content creator, live streamer, and cameraman extraordinaire. Collin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So just recently, you released a Bitcoin Cash advertisement called It's Just Money, Bro. And it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah, you could call it that. Yeah. A lot of emotions packed in there. It's kind of the point of a commercial, short one.
So could you walk us through the basic overview of the commercial for anyone who hasn't seen it? Of course, we'll link to it in the description.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so basically this Bitcoin nerd guy is trying to shill some type of crypto tech jargon to this cashier who's just very uninterested in a random convenience store. And our protagonist, our cool Bitcoin Cash guy, comes in, hears this guy talking and kind of disregards him and goes to some chips that he wants to buy, and he has to decide which chips he wants to buy as a little inner monologue, all while this Bitcoin nerdy guy is still talking. And then he brings his chips over to the counter and pays for it with Bitcoin Cash, and he says, "It's just money, bro," to the other guy, and the other guy's like dumbfounded, and then he walks out, and the Bitcoin nerd guy then says he forgot his wallet and the soda he has in his hand, he drops and doesn't pay for it and just leaves looks like a fool. So the point is, it's just money, bro.
Yeah, that's great. I think the "It's Just Money, Bro" line is really solid. It gets a point across that I think is really important. So where did that come from? Was that just hit you one day?
So yeah, actually, funny story about that. So I think the original idea came up. I knew I wanted to do like some type of commercial. When me and Mike Komaranski were doing that live stream during the ADC fork, I think it was like when we were packing up or something, and I said, it's just money, bro," or something like that, or somebody said something like that, and then kind of from there the whole situation kind of comes from there, from like a writing perspective. You just kind of expand on that line outwards and see what you can get. And so yeah, the kind of simplest and easiest one I could think of was a convenience store. There are some other situations I've kind of thought of to maybe make it a series, but I'm not sure of any quite yet. And I'd like to push this commercial a little bit further, which I did run into a roadblock the other day. I was trying to put on Google ads, YouTube ads. I knew they had like some cryptocurrency exception for like advertising. And so basically you can't advertise like individual cryptos, like individual crypto coins. Basically, they put this in 2017 when the ICO craze was going on, and people were like shilling all type of shit coins. And so, but you can basically shill a crypto company. So like, for example, I get advertised crypto.com debit cards like all the time. Like that's like one of the most ads I get. And so I thought I'd be good now. I kind of like totally like forgot about that whole advertising thing. So I like tried to set up the whole campaign, and then it was reviewing for a couple of days, and then it was denied. And so I'm still kind of thinking of avenues to take it from here. I mean, it's 30-second ad, like specifically right at 30 seconds. So I mean, it really could go on TV. It really could go on a Super Bowl commercial if it really wanted to, but that of course requires a huge amount of investments and into that, which maybe I could run a Flipstart or something, but it's finding the right stage for it at this point is kind of the problem, because it has 3,000 views on YouTube. It has a ton on Twitter. Is like my most, where I embedded the videos, like my most viewed and like tweet by far. And so it's spread definitely to the Bitcoin Cash community, but I don't know like how far it's spread outside of that, which is kind of the whole point, is just to like say, to advertise Bitcoin Cash being just money to the outside normal person. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that now. So
it is unfortunate that systems in place, have roadblocks, like you're saying. The Google Ads thing is confusing. I've run into similar issues and not really even been able to tell what it was specifically that I was violating. So I feel for you there. And of course, congrats on the success the video has had already. Just the exposure so far is definitely nice.
For sure.
Are there any other specific avenues for advertising the video on YouTube that you've tried? I mean, I know there's like Brave
Google
ads. I know that Google runs the world.
Brave
so
ads.
What else is there?
I could try Brave ads on you bring it up. Like I always just kind of have this block in my mind that Google just owns everything advertising on the internet. So it's like, what do you do, right?
Right.
Like seriously, like what do you do? Like they reject you and you can't put your ad anywhere unless you like find a really independent thing. Like then you have to go to like specific content creators to like put the ad in the video, and then it's like, how does it not be intrusive in that respect? And so I mean, Google's great because you can target specific audiences and there's so many tools to do it, and then you just can't use it. So what do? Brave ads might be a good one. I mean, I know they're crypto friendly. Maybe they'll do something with that, but I'm not sure like where the video would go with Brave ads. But yeah, again, like it's definitely like could be made for like TV. Like I shot it at 30 frames per second, which is for TV. 24 is like the traditional like movie film, but I did it at 30. And that was for TV, and so it could go on there again. It's just a matter of like where and like if the funds are there and if there would be some type of return. And so yeah, one other thing I did. I mean, I have the URL. It's just moneybro.com, but I was thinking about like building a website around that, and then all of a sudden Kim.com came out with his awesome website, whybitcoincash.com. So I literally just like redirect the URL to there.
Nice.
And so like I mean, I think like I can't make a better like website than that. And so I was thinking maybe that's another like Google policy thing that I was reading, that is if your like URL redirects, they don't like that either. And so I was thinking like, shit, do I have to like pretend like this commercial is for like a point of sale system? Like we're just advertising the point of sale system, not a specific cryptocurrency, but like that'd be kind of iffy if they actually like looked at that and everything. Right. So yeah, I'm not really sure where to go from there.
So, of course, Super Bowl, we're talking millions of dollars, but I'm assuming that most people don't have a good impression for what the costs are for other levels of getting an ad on TV. So could you walk us through that if you're familiar with any of the numbers? Like if your local station, something a little bigger, what are the numbers we're looking at?
I could try. This is super ballpark. I don't know any specifics, but like say you're in like a prime, like a Sunday night football or something. I bet you those ads are hundreds of thousands for a spot. If you're going for like a normal football game Sunday, probably like 20, 30, 40,000 for a spot. If you're going like primetime drama night, this primetime show, maybe again in the tens of thousands. If you're going like local news, maybe it's thousands, right? It gets, there's a huge wide range of, it's basically all directly correlated with how many viewers there are. And so it's like, at what point does it become valuable for us to do that and to like pursue that as a community funded flip starter? I don't really know that answer.
Sure, we'll appreciate the perspective, and I'm sure just having even the numbers, maybe someone will get in touch. We can cross our fingers.
Yeah, feel free. I'd love to. I haven't actually like delved deep into that, but I'm sure I could. I could figure it out if I knew there was some funding behind it. I'm sure that'd be no problem at all.
Well, that's good to hear. So just really quickly back to the commercial, I wanted to touch on one point, which is that when the customer who utters the titular line, he pays 14 bits after he said, or before or after he says it's just money, bro. So are you personally a fan of that denomination, or did you think it was just quick and good for the commercial?
I think it was mainly for the commercial. I mean, I think it's a good denominator. It's like hard to kind of say denominators when, like, how much is a bit even right now? Like, I don't know. Like, how much is it? I think Satoshi's like a horrible one. I think bit like makes logical sense from like a normal person. That's kind of why I use that in the commercial. Like, oh, bits, Bitcoin, right? That just makes sense to me. And so 14 bits. I was thinking like I didn't want to do like a US dollar, like $14, like $2 or something, because like it's the future. Like dollar's gone, right? The dollar's gone, and so I didn't really want to use any like known currency. It was funny. So actually, on the actual point of sale, we use some like really weird currency to like denomination, like actually on the app, like on set, and it's like it just because it had a B in it, and like I put like 14B, then it was like R or something, and just so I could like use that as reference to like if you look really closely, if you pause it, I actually did edit in 14 bits. So
Oh, very nice.
it's like I think it's literally like 4 frames, so it goes out of focus, but details, baby. And so yeah, it just bits. I think bits just flows for most people. Satoshi's just like okay, nerd,
Right. And a bit is a bit 1,000 satoshis. Am I remembering that correctly?
I have no idea. I need to look that up. How much is a Bitcoin? That's not gonna come up anything. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah, you can do like Satoshi's bit. Yeah, I don't even. How do you search that? Yeah, you need some really good Google food for that one.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because I think it might be 1,000, and there have been a couple names even suggested for that amount, the 1,000 Satoshi mark. So it was Bit. I know there's a couple others, and even like Playmo.com, like Mo is 1,000 Satoshis, and that's just they picked it. So I would love if instead of us coming up with something really cool, just the most used version ends up being the one. So maybe it'll be Mo, which would be hilarious.
Okay, so 1 bit is a millionth of a Bitcoin. So and BTC, where it's kind of makes sense. It's 1 bit is 5 cents. So
1 millionth of a Bitcoin, and a Satoshi is 100 millionth.
Yes.
So it's it's 100 sats. Oh, is my brain breaking?
100 sats. Yes.
Oh man, so there's like stuff for 100. There's stuff for 1,000. Millisat. Yeah. Why didn't you just use millisats, dude?
That'd be 1,700 millisats.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that all turns out. And you did actually make a Bitcoin Cash commercial before this one in a barbershop. So you sort of already set a precedent that this is something that you're able to do. Could you talk a little bit about the process you went through to get this commercial funded?
Sure. And so, yeah, that first one I made, I think it was like end of 2017, came out early 2018. I think it was re-uploaded, so it says May 2018, but I think it was released in January, February 2018. But yeah, that one was funded through the Bitcoin Cash Association at the time, which was funding different projects. And that was like probably a fifth or sixth of the budget of this one. It was really small. And I definitely didn't get any like profits off that one. I got a little profits off this new one, I'll admit. I mean, I had my rate, and by the time I like actually sold the Bitcoin Cash from when I got Flipstarter, it appreciated, so it was all good. And so everybody got paid full rates on this new commercial and hired the best people I knew to go make it. And so yeah, to get funded, I went through Flipstarter this time, and instead of through a central organization, I did it like in a decentralized way. So I wrote up my whole pitch. I didn't actually upload the like specific script, but a summary, basically the same type of summary I said in the beginning of this video. And I said, hey, I did this barbershop one back in the day. I can do this one, but better. And so, I mean, it's 3 years later, my skills have improved as a video storyteller, as a commercial director. My range of who I know. It's actually the same director of photography on the barbershop one as the convenience store one. So fun fact, same camera guy shot both of them. So that's I think he was the only one on both of them actually. But yeah, so that's why they both look great. Marcelo Pancotti, he does like a ton of music videos. Like he's worked with like Rick Ross and like a bunch of huge people. Nice. And so I knew I wanted to like stylize it a little bit, go with the future, so I had to bring him on board. But yeah, just through Flipstarter, and then it got funded. It was pretty quickly. I think it was like within a week. And honestly, I expected it to fund quickly because my documentary was funded, which we can talk about later. It's still in the works. But yeah, it was funded and it was amazing. And then it was just kind of one thing I kept waiting on was finding a convenience store. And then I finally found like a locations director guy who had a location for me, and so we went in there, styled it up, and now that I think about it, I still have a bunch of behind the scenes video footage I need to edit together, so I still do have that.
Very cool. And I do think it, shows that you had good people working on it. And also, I'm sure many people, listening, even a location director is probably a name that or a title that they've never heard before. So there's, of course, a whole lot going into these things.
Locations manager, actually. Coming out,
okay.
Locations manager, yeah.
No, I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah, no, you're good. That specific role that coordinate with the person that owns the store, and like he's there in the beginning when we get in there and like make sure everything's good. And he's in there at the end to make sure everything's all picked up and taken care of. And if he needed like a jail, hospital, cell, like anything like that, like the locations manager should be able to find it for you. So
very cool. And so, of course, all of these jobs cost money, and it's great that you were funded via Flipstart. And I just think it might be worth commenting that because this is a whole decentralized system, right? No one person is in charge. No one person is deciding where funding goes. Without Flipstarter, this may have been a little more difficult. Like you said, the last time you did it, you were funded by an organization, luckily. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty tough in general, isn't it? Marketing for a decentralized thing, whatever it may be.
Yeah, for sure. I think I had a similar thing, again, circling back to the Flipstarter of my documentary, still in progress. Like I reached out to people to like help me fund it, especially before all the coronavirus shit happened. So like, hey, I needed to like do this trip to like finish the documentary, and it was extremely hard to find anybody to do that. And people would say, well, like maybe, but I'm not so sure right now. And then all of a sudden, my feeling was if I got a bunch of people to agree to all fund me, like 3 or 4 big donors, they would. That was my idea at the time, and then Flipstarter came out, and that's what happened. And so it's like a way to like organize these people that I like had individual conversations with.
Yeah, that's great, and it's especially nice that the timing worked out that it became available, just as you needed it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that documentary just a little bit. Sure, I know things have been a little rough, like you just said, because of COVID. It was also funded via Flipstarter. So maybe could you just tell us, like, what were the general deliverables that you listed for this Flipstarter, and where are those? And what status is any of them that you can think of?
So there's one deliverable. It's a big old Bitcoin feature-length documentary. And so it's called Breaking Bitcoin, and it will tell the story of Bitcoin, how it split into two in 2017. And so it will definitely tell the entire story of the scaling debate. I'll probably leave out some boring details. They might be crucial, but if they're too boring, like, you got to keep the audience interested. Like, you have to. And so hopefully this would like spur people to kind of research it more on their own. I think, of course, there's like juicy details like, oh, the CIA guy funded this other guy to do this thing. Like that shit like sells. Like if you're going on Netflix and like all those like girls who watch those like crime documentaries and like horror documentaries. I mean, like it's stuff like that. Like it's not gonna be like too conspiratorial by any means, but
there's some intrigue there.
Yeah, there's gotta be some intrigue, right? And so I've interviewed like 15 people probably at this point about the Bitcoin scaling debate. So like I have all like the historical things in there. There are a couple people. I did actually get Mike Hearn to agree to interview, but then Corona. So I got to go to Sweden at some point and get his, because that's a very crucial interview, and that will definitely like finish out the entire what I can put together as far as pieces. And then from there it's like, so that's all a bunch of like nerd stuff, right? And so I want to also go to South Sudan still, which trip has been postponed like multiple times just because of coronavirus and coordinating all the visas. And because like my guess is you're gonna have to like test every way along the route, and I really don't want to get a vaccination, but like who knows, I'll probably have to like to go to frickin' South Sudan, like, and so bite the bullet. Hopefully I don't get sick. I'm a healthy guy, so I'm not super worried about it. But and then Venezuela's still on the list as well. Again, that was like a huge thing. Everything just getting pushed back because Corona. I did that Flipstarter back in October. the Corona thing was already going on for 6 months. I was like, this can't lasting for too much longer. And 6 more months, and like here we are, and like nothing's opening still. It's just absolutely insane. And so the funds are still there, of course. Like I'm just waiting on things to be lifted. And so if just like a couple more trips, and then I can throw all this footage to an editor that I trust, and we can start cutting it all together and making it a beautiful documentary that hopefully I can sell it to Netflix, because like people like Netflix and these streaming services, if you're not a known director, like I'm not, like by any means, but you have a finished product and they can watch it, and if it's about crypto and they enjoy watching it, like they'll buy it. Like it's just a matter of like getting it done. Like I can't pitch this to them without the story, you know. I would need to cut something together. Like maybe I could cut together a 20-minute piece for them to like preview, but I don't have the footage to like properly put that together yet either. So the whole thing's got to be shot before I can even like think of pitching it to anybody as far as distribution wise goes. But honestly, I think a streaming service would pick this thing up in a heartbeat once it's finished. So I'm not too worried about distribution right now. I don't think it's going to be a problem if I get all the footage I need to have.
Well, I hope so. And it's good to hear that you're optimistic. We're all grateful, of course, for the effort you're putting in and for your willingness to give us some updates on the project. When
yeah, of course. I know it's like, oh, you got funded all this money. Like, where's this money? I was like, it's here. Like, don't worry, it's still here. I haven't lost it.
or spend it all on booze, or
I haven't gambled it away.
Satoshi Dice.
Yeah, on Satoshi Dice or margin trading or anything. So it's still around. It's still there. It just, you might not be able to find it because, you know, cash fusion. So.
Point. Well, that looks like maybe a good place to leave off. But I do want to ask, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up? Either about, you know, what we've been talking about or something totally different, if there's anything else and that you'd like to share.
Sure, yeah. I think Bitcoin Cash is getting wrecked in the markets right now, which sucks, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, it's getting wrecked, especially BTC value-wise, ratio-wise, which sucks. I mean, for a lot of people, I think. But I think that like the fundamentals are like still there. I think a lot of the market is just like still speculation, which of course it is. But like, how much of it is utility? I mean, Cardano is still number 3, and like they just got smart contracts, and smart contracts are cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I think I've used Ethereum a lot in the last year and months to just like interact with it, like check out all this farming stuff, just to keep on what's going on in the rest of the ecosystem. And a lot of it is really cool, but like, again, like gas fees. Like, I know they're saying layer 2's coming soon, and it could work great, but it just goes back to, oh, now you're on layer 2. Like, why can't your blockchain just be good, right? And so I think the fundamentals are still great for Bitcoin Cash. And of course, like, you have Kim.com support pushing everything out. I know people freaking out about like an Elon Musk tweet saying fair point about Bitcoin Cash. Like, oh, senpai, notice us. Like, okay.
I'll be happy about it as long as we don't, you know, have 10 posts about it upvoted to the top of our BTC.
Jesus Christ. I know. It's like, oh my God, Elon Musk said something about us. But anyways, I still think the fundamentals are there. Still getting wrecked in the markets. I don't know why. It feels like some old whales are just dumping their old Bitcoin Cash stash. I don't know, but the fundamentals are still there. We still haven't gotten 51% attack, which so we still haven't. I don't know. Come and do it. So I guess, I mean, it sucks to say, but it's kind of bad to say. Have faith. Don't lose like the reason you're here, I guess. So peer-to-peer cash for the world.
Yes, sir. And that's I think especially important that the market can be providing us feedback, but it's not necessarily feedback we should be listening to.
That's what we tell ourselves.
Yeah. and with any luck, you know, it's the market being a voting machine, and then eventually it'll turn into a weighing machine.
Yeah,
but,
hopefully.
You know, maybe that takes a year, maybe it takes 100 years. I'm just gonna cross my fingers it's closer to a year.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, so let's hope so. I mean, all these other shit coins, I'm beginning to cash in this shit coin, of course, but all these other shit coins have like pumped randomly for what seems like no reason. Like, Bitcoin Cash hasn't really like had that in this market cycle yet. It's like the highest has been like 700, which is just seems so low. Like we're number 13 now. I think I did the math the other day. We need to like 5 times to get back to like number 3 or 4 or something. So. Which is crazy. Like all these coins have appreciated so much, and Bitcoin Cash just hasn't. So maybe that's just more upside for us. So who knows?
Sure. And I have seen some people talk about, just compared to all-time highs, many of the coins have blasted past them. And, if at least you treat that as a sort of pattern for most coins, how much they have or haven't exceeded all-time highs, Bitcoin Cash is nowhere close.
Right.
So,
right.
Again, yeah, we can hope it's an upside, not investment advice.
Yeah, you got to think like, I mean, like I said earlier, it's got to be something with like the huge Bitcoin holders just like dumping the Bitcoin Cash. Because you can't dump these other coins if you never got them. I mean, people that held Bitcoin in 2010 to 2021 are all of a sudden unlocking their Bitcoin Cash, for example. Like they can do that. They're not unlocking their Theta coin, their Cardano, their Link. Like they can't dump that because they never had it. So maybe it's that, maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, it is hard to say. Well,
yeah.
Either way, I want to say thank you very much for joining me, and
of course,
best of luck with your documentary and all your other projects.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks to our listeners and viewers for tuning in. The Unlimit podcast is brought to you by Bitcoin Unlimited. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to look for this podcast on your favorite podcast distribution platforms.